Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to talk about the lengthy run on Red Sonja by writer Amy Chu, and at first by artist Carlos Gomez, and eventually by Eric Burnham. And this is a run that's been going on for a while. Obviously, I haven't talked about it yet. I don't know why. I've been enjoying it for the most part. It's going to be kind of a weird review. I'm going to review the entire run. We only have one more issue left in January before Mark Russell takes over the book, and they're going to restart the numbering. But this all started with a 25-cent Zero issue way back when. Now, I'm always hesitant about a Red Sonja title. I love the character, and I love a good, well-written story with the character. I'm a big Robert E. Howard fan. I know that the character of Red Sonja we have today in comics has certainly evolved a bit from the character he originally created, but still, it's a great example. She is an example of the phallic woman in terms of archetypes. And I'll place a link in the top right-hand corner there to my video that I did on the heroine archetype, which is different from the phallic woman. And I talk about in that how a lot of times people just sort of fall back on the phallic woman because the basic gist of it is a woman who can just be a real badass and do everything a, quote, man can do. And when it's done right, it's incredibly fun. It's a lot of fun. And when it's done right with Red Sonja, it's just golden. I love it. The heroine is a little bit different. It's a little bit more nuanced. So we'll talk about that. But the thing that really drew me to this was the idea that Red Sonja is going to be in our world. Red Sonja comes from Hyboria to actual New York City, modern day. And I'm always nervous when I approach a new Red Sonja title. I'm always leery. First thing I look for is, do they still have her in the chainmail bikini? Because I'm so sick of the feminist agenda and all that kind of stuff. We just need to get her out of that. They do the same thing to Wonder Woman, constantly trying to tweak. She just can't fight crime like that. She needs to wear a proper shirt, and she can't just wear, she needs some pants or whatever. Stupid, complete misunderstanding of mythology and archetypes and symbolism and all of that. It's nonsense. So I won't touch a book if I see them monkeying with her costume. But I didn't see that on this, and I was interested in the premise here. So I picked up this 25-cent Zero issue. What could I lose? And the art, Carlos Gomez's art, was the first thing just to completely knock me over. I love this art. Gorgeous art. Really great action shots and action poses. And I just like his style here. This is really great. I enjoyed it. And we start out with Red Sonja fighting this sorcerer, Kulangath, I think is how it's pronounced, in her native land there. And eventually, through some magic, she is warped to New York City to follow him on a quest there. I love the first issue. The first issue told me by a lot of the poses and everything that it was going... I guess you could say it's exploitive, but I don't really think of it as exploitive. I'm talking about the poses and the art and the way that you really show off her body. So in that sense, you could say it's exploitive, but I don't think it's exploitive in terms of the archetype and the story that she tells, because that's the allure of a phallic woman. You're supposed to see her as a gorgeous, beautiful woman who's not acting in a way that traditionally you would think of a character who showed her beauty and showed off herself in this manner would act, right? But she obviously looks a little bit different than Conan. And this story arc just really nailed it. I'll show you one more page of her. I just love that of her coming up through the manhole into New York City. It was just a great, this is a great issue, and the whole run started out. I subscribed to it, and I would just get sent random covers. It's weird. Sometimes I would get the cosplay covers. As you can see here, sometimes I would get different variants and whatnot. And sometimes the variants are good. Sometimes they're really well done. Some cool variants. This was a nice, great art there. There were some other cool ones. What were some of the ones? That's really cool. I like that. So sometimes you have some cool artists. Other times the art is just woof. What on earth were they thinking? There was one in particular that I wanted to show. Of course, I should have had a finger there marking the place, but yeah, some of the art's great. So some of the covers I was really proud of and happy to have in my collection. I love that. That's my favorite type of art. That's just gorgeous. That's great. Here's the one. What the hell kind of ugly trash is that? That is just what, you take Red Sonja and make her like a 12-year-old angry girl / goblin? I mean, what is that? That's just god awful. So yeah, sometimes, you know, I get some clinkers, but anyway, the basic story was really great, like I said, and it takes her all the way into New York City on this journey. She teams up with a police officer and has some other allies chasing down this sorcerer throughout the country. Even they go on a road trip eventually. It's a lot of fun. She's fighting motorcycle gangs and all this kind of stuff. It's really, really cool, really a fun story, and I can't recommend it enough. And that art is just gorgeous, and the story was solid, and we treated Red Sonja as a proper phallic woman archetype that she should be, and that was really great. And the story was satisfying, even all the way through to the conclusion. Now, this story of her in New York City really wraps up around issue 16, I think. 16, this story arc is done. And then she's having another little sort of mini adventure with some of the characters that have shown up. So, 16 here is the first. Yeah, so 16 is the first issue. No, this is the last issue, and this is when Eric Burnham took over on the art. Now, Eric Burnham is fine. He's a fine artist. I think Eric Burnham. No, Carlos Gomez is still on here. This is Eric Burnham. I'm sorry, he was helping with the script. I misspoke there, but he on issue 17. Now we've got Daniel HDR on art, and the art the art is good. I think we go through a couple different artists after Carlos Gomez leaves, but it's all good art. I mean, it's not the interior art anyway, it's all fine, but I like Carlos Gomez's best. I think he had just a unique little take on the character and the universe, which is really cool to see, so I like that. We have a little mini adventure after the one wraps up with the New York City and her in our world, and it's okay. It's okay. It's a little mini adventure. Maybe it kind of, it does. It kind of ties up a loose end or two. It's like a fitting little denouement, and that's fine. So, yeah, issue 21, that's a gorgeous cover there, too. Issue 21 is where the official story wraps up. Like I said, issue 16 or whatever, that whole story of her really in our world ends, but the little denouement thing wraps up in issue 21, and we see her walking off on her own there, set to wander again. So, fine, good. The denouement is not as interesting as the main story, but still good, still fine. Then, we get issue 22. Not crazy about that style of art on the cover, but whatever. This is just... It's like Amy Chu starting to get bored and just... I don't know what she thinks she's doing with the character anymore. This one's bizarre. She's been traveling for a while, so I don't know what the F is up with that hair. What the hell? Are you just trying to be cute? It's never even addressed in the issue. I know she's been traveling for a while, but come on, she can get a freaking haircut. She's wearing the corset too, I guess. I don't know why we are covering her up all of a sudden. The story itself is kind of, okay, whatever, whatever. The story's, a fine little solo adventure. But what are you doing? What is she that's just ugly to look at. I mean, seriously, it's never even addressed, and she's just wearing this that's her look the entire issue. That was just really off-putting. It felt like she was just running out of steam. Then, the last issue that just came out this past week is really, really a problem. Because now, the art's great, the art's beautiful, and we no longer have that atrocious haircut or anything like that. But now we have Amy Chu no longer really treating the character like a phallic woman. Now she's trying to broaden the character and make her a little more three-dimensional and have a bunch of even some I think even some feminist agenda starting to pop in. So the concept of the story is pretty cool. Red Sonja's wandering through the wilderness, Corinthia, and she's all of a sudden accosted by this goddess, and this goddess is going to grant this wish of one of her final worshippers, and the wish was to have Red Sonja brought before him because Red Sonja had killed his last surviving son. So the king, whose son he had killed, wants to first kill her to avenge her, but the goddess says no. I know the value of lives, and Red Sonja has done great things. She will do great things, much more than your son ever did in life. Okay, all right, that's fine. Then she says, but Red Sonja can offer you a boon. She can offer you a boon, and that should clear the slate. So the first thing the king says is, well, perhaps she could provide me with another son. Yes, yes, I wish that. Now that's perfectly valid in a Red Sonja story. That is something that, you know, especially a wicked king or deceiving, conniving king like that would say. And what would happen after that? Red Sonja would threaten his very life, right? She would have none of that, and that would be a great opportunity for a moment for Red Sonja to have one of those little moments that really proves her, you know, badassery there. But no, we have to have the goddess step in and defend her. And it's just, it's bizarre. The she-devil is a formidable warrior, and she will be treated as such. Choose again. It's just like this feminist slapping him on the back of the hand with a ruler and saying, no, this is how we act now. And that it's a wasted character moment, because we should have Red Sonja stand up for herself. That's really what should happen there. And this goddess too just has her way with Red Sonja. I mean, just totally, you know, treats her however she wants to. Red Sonja is powerless to do anything, you know, about it. And that's not really in keeping with one of these stories. You know, a Conan or a Red Sonja does not abide by these gods of other nations and whatnot, and they will, you know, be disrespectful. They will, you know, sometimes best them, sometimes. Then we also have this silly aspect to her character going through here. Suddenly, this is no longer the Red Sonja that we knew, who went through our world and went through the denouement story of her own world and was just a great, fierce warrior and was just, you know, kicking ass and taking names. Secondary, you know, she just, you know, this was her. Now she's a character who's not wandering for the curiosity and the wanderlust. No, now she wants to learn. She wants to learn things. That's why she's wandering now. You know, this is an opportunity to learn something new. What? Who do you think you're right? This is not Red Sonja. Stop it. Stop it with trying to write the stereotypical intelligent modern woman or whatever. That's not Red Sonja. Leave it alone, for crying out loud. She is encountering a sphinx, and she asks the sphinx a riddle and distracts it so that she can kill it. I see what you did there, but Red Sonja would have just lunged forward and killed it. I don't like this whole idea of having to be smart and having to think through these things. And she says something to the effect later too, when she's fighting a griffin. She's like, I have to, you know, be smart about this and strategize. No, that's not Red Sonja. That is not Red Sonja. That might be the type of character that you wish you were writing now, Amy Chu, but that's not Red Sonja. So these last two issues have really been subpar, really missed the mark on the character. And it's such a shame after the whole run really just nailed the character. It was a great story, a joy to read. And then we have this. So, you know, her time's almost done. We have one more issue from her, I believe, on the run before Mark Russell takes over. And we'll see what he does with his. I don't know. We'll see. But thus far, I mean, for the most part, this has been a solid run from Dynamite Comics, and I definitely recommend looking into it. I don't know if this is released or compiled as a trade paperback yet. If it is, though, I would definitely recommend getting Volume 1. I'm sure it will be shortly if it's not already. It's probably already released, coming out, advertised as coming out soon. I don't know. But yeah, this whole story about her crossing over into our world and everything is just solid work. That is my review of the Red Sonja run by Amy Chu and Carlos Gomez at first, Eric Burnham, and various different artists coming on board later. But let me know what you think if you've read this run. I know it's been mentioned a couple of times in the comments section for different Dynamite titles that I've reviewed, so I'd love to know your thoughts on that, and might look at Deja Thoris or maybe Vampirello and Deja Thoris or something like that in a bit. But Dynamite has quite a few titles right now that I'm enjoying, so there'll be more to come, more live streams, more reviews, more archetype videos and such. But until then, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the hero stories you love. Thanks for watching.